Little Big Planet backgrounds. You either use them or don't use them. You either love them, you hate them. Some are cool, some are outstanding, some are awesome, some are creepy, some are underused, and some are quite mysterious. Let's talk about them. Now, before we go any further, I would like to only say that I'm only talking about Little Big Planet 1 backgrounds because there's like a lot of backgrounds in Little Big Planet, like throughout the series. And it would actually take a little bit. It would actually take a little long for me to like talk about them and like get to them and label them. So I'm only going to be talking about Little Big Planet 1's backgrounds, including the DLCs. Now, first things first, let's talk about the blank background. As its name implies, it's just a blank background. It's kind of too basic. I mean, I like it a lot, but there's not really much things to be said about it. It just has a walls, a ground, and a ceiling, and yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I mean, my liking about the background is actually pretty cool. I mean, it could. I mean, if you want to feel classic in your Little Big Planet levels, like in the later games, like in Little Big Planet 2 or 3, use the Little Big Planet 1 blank background. Okay, that was kind of a terrible explanation, but yeah. Moving on. Next up, the gardens. So, the gardens basically is like, a garden that is based off of a real life garden from a specific person that was creating Little Big Planet, but I can't really remember the name. Trust me, I just realized that. Or should I say, I just learned that from a video. And, you know, it's. And it's basically based off somebody's gardens, like that was helping creating Little Big Planet, but I don't really remember the name. But I don't really see how that could actually I don't really see how that can actually like relate to his actual gardens compared to Little Big Planet Gardens background, but I don't know. I don't really make the rules. I mean, if you guys know how it actually relates, please let me know in the comment section below. I just don't really have anything more to say about the gardens. Now, my thoughts on it is it's kind of a little basic. I mean, there is basically a Little Big Planet 3 enhanced version of the gardens from the Journey Home trailer. I mean, from the Journey Home DLC. But I'm not gonna talk about that because it's kind of like a little bit. It kind of received a makeover, but back into the gardens. Yeah, it's just gnomes, and there's actually like mini trees, and there's also a sidewalk and pebbles and grass. There's not really much say about the gardens background. I mean, sure, it's kind of like everybody's go to. I think everybody's go to how should I say this, background for Little Big Planet 1 levels, like back in the early days, but I kind of don't really see myself using that background in like Little Big Planet levels. Anyways, moving on. Next up is the Savannah or Savannah. I'm not really sure how else to say it. It's basically like a savannah with with a couple of huts and a lava or a fire bonfire, whatever it's called. But all I know is that it's basically lava. If you don't really pay attention to like the campfire texture, it's basically lava, or it could be magma. I do not really know, but you get the deal. I think the savannah is probably supposed to be based off of like the wildlife, and there's actually small trees, and I'm not really sure what it is based off of. Probably Madagascar or something. And no, I'm not talking about my childhood movie. I never even mentioned that before, but yeah, I'm getting a little off topic here. But I loved Madagascar as a kid. And okay, enough off topic. We're getting back on topic now. Anyways, so yeah, I'm pretty sure the wildlife is based off of that. I'm not even sure if I said that right, but yeah. Also, I kind of want to note one thing, that the savannah background at night kind of scares me. It's probably because of the sounds, you know? They just kind of make me a little unsettling. It's not creepy or anything. It's just, you know, it just kind of makes me get chills down go down my spine. And especially when it's nighttime too. Just thinking about it makes me a little bit uneasy. But overall, it's kind of a solid background, just with an orange sky, and you know, the background kind of does remind me of a little bit about Madagascar, but I'm pretty sure it's not based off of Madagascar. But you get the deal. Moving on. Next up, the wedding. So I don't really know about you guys, but if you've ever been in a cemetery before, you'll probably get an idea. You'll probably get a much more, you know, brief rundown on what the wedding is. Well, not really, because the wedding is basically supposed to be, in Little Big Planet, is supposed to be like, you know, some sort of skeleton dead wedding, Mexican whatever. But what the background really is that it's basically like a cemetery and a church, I think. I mean, it's kind of obvious now, but if you actually go into the building, like, you know, into the church, there's actually total darkness, or there's nothing. I kind of want to know what is in there, but even though I said that there's total darkness or nothing, but I just really want to know what's actually in there, you know? Anyways, hold on. I kind of just realized and just remembered that I feel like I need to say this now, saying that one of the headstones kind of say, like, you know, someone's name, some names. I'm not really sure if they're made up or not, but you know, I think one of them says John Doe or Jane Doe. I'm not really sure, but you can't really read that very well because they're kind of blurred off, and it's not very clear to read it. Overall, the garden's background, I mean, the wedding background is actually pretty good. I like it a lot. I mean, it is kind of useful for whenever you want to make a level with a spooky concept. So yeah, moving on. Next up is the canyon's background. I really like this one because it's basically supposed to be like some sort of desert area. I'm pretty sure it's based off of something, but I don't know what. But the main thing I don't really like about the canyons is how big the cacti are. I mean, sure, you're basically a sack person, right? In game, and the backgrounds are supposed to be like extremely big, and you're playing as, like, you know, a small doll plushie of whatever you can think of Sackboy. But I just don't really like the cacti being like a little too big, especially when you shrink them in Little Big Planet 3 using a glitch. They just, you know, I'm not really sure how to say it, but the Y, X, and Z axis kind of get a little messed up. So yeah, but anyways, the canyon's background, I really like it. Besides the cacti, I really like it, and I like how it kind of resembles a desert, and I kind of like the bull head or the bull skull or whatever you want to call it. Overall, it's a pretty solid background. I would probably use it like almost all the time. Anyways, moving on. Next up, the Metropolis. I'm not really sure how else to say. I mean, how do you say Metropolis? Is it Metropolis? I'm not really sure how else to say it, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But anyways, I'm pretty sure, yeah. I just remembered watching a video saying, like, you know, like the Metropolis background is based off of something, like, you know, that is based off of a city that actually has graffiti. Well, not really the same graffiti, but it also has kind of like identical graffiti, you know? And yeah, I kind of like it. I actually really like it a lot. It's kind of like a pretty good background to have like a city or downtown concept or something. Like a I don't know. Or kind of like a city or a town concept. I know I already said that. I don't know. I'm sorry. I have autism and I can't really speak very clearly, so you're going to have to bear with me on that. Anyways, like I was saying, I do have a little bit of mysteries for like the Metropolis background. It's like what is behind like the police tape and like in the middle of the background, and what's actually in the private door. I mean, we already know what's behind the private door, where there's actually absolutely nothing, and we all know that the trash cans actually have absolutely nothing inside it. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say. The background kind of creeps me out a little bit because some of the windows are actually because if you really look at the background, you know some of the windows are actually kind of cracked, and the lights are off, which is kind of a little freaky, but it's all right, I guess. I like the Metropolis background. It's kind of a cool concept. It's kind of a cool background for a concept of being on top of buildings and stuff. But yeah, you get the deal. Anyways, moving on. The island's background in particular is probably supposed to be based off of somewhere in Tokyo or in Japan, but all I know is that there's actually like a really big tower that you can't really get to, like when you're trying to explore the background. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's probably supposed to be a castle, but like I was saying, the background I kind of like a lot. Well, I actually really like it a lot, or should I say? I mean, I'm pretty sure that the buildings, like in the islands, is probably supposed to be based off of like a Zen garden or something. Like I'm not really sure how else to describe it, but you actually have like like an area where you can actually just rake and then make some sort of creation. You can or should I say you can probably draw on like using a rake. You get the deal. But yeah, I kind of like the background a lot. The one thing that will always get me as a mystery is like in the beginning of the background, if you actually see like light posts, you'll probably wonder as well as myself where it actually leads to. Who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows. But moving on. Now, the temple's background, I don't really like at all. I mean, I get that it's probably supposed to be based off of like Elephant Temple, but it kind of looks a little like a ruined Elephant Temple, but it's not all that interesting to me. I mean, yeah, that's basically all I have to say. I mean, I wouldn't really see myself using it a lot, but it's kind of uninteresting to me. I mean, elephant temples are not really interesting to me. I'm pretty sure it's probably supposed to be based off of India or something because I think India really likes elephants. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't really know how else to explain it, okay? Anyways, moving on. The last world of the game in Little Big Planet 1, The Wilderness, I really like a lot. I mean, first of all, I just want to go into record by saying that I love snow and I just love wintry themes a lot. And yeah, it has a lot of stuff. There's bears, there's like icicles, there's like trees. Like the trees are like this big as well as the mountains as well. And what else do I have to say? I'm not really sure if you can actually wake up the bear. Well, the bear is kind of like a static decoration in the background, but I don't know. Needless to say, I love the wilderness as a Little Big Planet world, especially the music. But anyways, I'm getting a little too full of myself. Moving on. I also want to mention, like, the Little Big Planet 1 tutorial background. I really like it. it's kind of a really good it's kind of a really good concept of like, a dreamy, a fever dream, whatever you're thinking about. If you're actually like, being zoned out of your mind, and then all you see is a cloud with moons and stars. This could be the background. Too bad it's not really given out on Little Big Planet 1. Well, it is probably given out on Little Big Planet 3, as a background that actually goes into your poppet, but not in Little Big Planet 1, unfortunately. I don't think. But yeah. Needless to say, I like the background a lot. It's pretty cool. And one strange thing that will always get to me whenever I'm playing Little Big Planet 3 and I select the background, like, the Little Big Planet 1 tutorial background, every time when I would actually just, change the in and out position, the clouds and stars actually, move very slowly. It doesn't really snap. It's not really quick moving. It just moves a little slowly, like if you follow my hand. But yeah, it's kind of a little weird, but regardless, I kind of like it. I actually really like the tutorial background. Now we are done with the main Little Big Planet backgrounds. Let's move on to the DLC. The Metal Gear Solid background, I actually really like. I mean, there's melons everywhere, but there isn't. But it's kind of not much of a big deal. I actually like the palm trees, and I actually like, I'm not really sure what the Metal Gear Solid background is supposed to be based off of. It's probably supposed to be based off of some sort of town that I don't really know which state it would actually be in, but it's actually pretty cool. It's kind of a cool concept for having like a mall themed, not really modern malls. It's kind of like, markets. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been trying to say. That's kind of the word that I'm looking for. So it's kind of like, good for having a retro market themed retro market concept, but yeah. Anyways, moving on. The Monster Kit background kind of scares me a little bit. I don't know why it actually scares me, but it's supposed to be like a monster's cave background. And yeah, other than that, I kind of know I'm stuttering a lot. I'm so sorry. But anyways, the water dripping out of the in the background noise kind of scares me a little bit. It just kind of makes me feel a little uneasy, But yeah. I mean, the main thing that I really like about the background, is basically the crystals. I mean, the crystals are actually pretty cool. I'm not really sure if they're made out of glass or they're diamonds or something, but the crystals are actually really cool. But other than that, the background kind of scares me a little. Anyways, moving on. The history kit, I'm not really sure what the history kit background name is, but I'm pretty sure from my knowledge it's probably called Pantheon. I'm so sorry. I just don't remember stuff right now. I'm so sorry. But anyways, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like some sort of church or some sort of museum. Well, yes, it's actually a museum. It's kind of like a church mixed with a museum. I'm not really sure why, but I actually really like it. It actually looks really radical. It's kind of dope, if you ask me. And I would actually want to be in like a museum with dinosaurs, or in a history museum and stuff. That would actually be really, really cool, and that would actually be a really cool experience for me. But I'm getting a little bit on a tangent here. Needless to say, I like the background, and moving on. Also, before I go any further, if you're liking my content so far, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new around here. Comment what is your favorite background in Little Big Planet. It doesn't really have to be what I actually mentioned, But just please comment. But just feel free to comment on what's your favorite Little Big Planet background, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. Anyways, back to the topic. Now, the Pirates of the Caribbean or Caribbean background is kind of a little confusing. It's kind of moderately used for shark survival levels, and if you're using water, and if you're using like a seaside, if you're using like a seaside, or if you're trying to create like a seaside level based off of it, then this background could clearly be for you. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I like the palm trees. I kind of like how there's so many palm trees and stuff. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Moving on. Now, the Incredibles background interests me like a lot. First of all, it's basically Edmund Mode's back or house, and the background is actually really really cool. I mean, it kind of reminds me. It kind of gives you the impression of being in Edna Mode's house, or what else? Being in that one house that took place, being in that one house that Mr. Incredible actually got after in The Incredibles 2. But I'm getting on a little tangent here. I actually really like it a lot. Like, not gonna lie. I mean, I like the statues, I like the couch. I think that's all I remember about the background. But anyways, that's all I have to say about the background. Moving on to the best for last. Now, despite the Marvel kit being the worst DLC mentioned by a lot of people, but I actually really, and I mean really and really like the Marvel background. Like, I just really like it a lot. It's kind of like, being high up in the buildings, and it's kind of like, severely underrated. I just kind of like the sound effects that you actually get when you actually switch the background to the Marvel background. Now, listen, I know that the Metropolis kind of have the same sound as the Marvel, but a little bit lower. But I like the Marvel one better. I mean, there's actually a bunch of stuff, like there's like buildings, chairs, rooms, windows, pipes, all that stuff. This one is personally my favorite background, and it's kind of a shame that I couldn't really get to it. And yeah, that's all the backgrounds that I want to talk about in Little Big Planet 1. If I missed anything, okay, actually, I should probably at least mention one more background that was actually unreleased for Little Big Planet. I'm pretty sure it was the Midwest train background. I may or may not have an image about it, but I kind of like it. I like the way how it actually looks, and I like the signs and the barns and the hay and the grass and stuff. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much my overall opinion on the Midwest train background. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. If you guys like this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Like I said, subscribe if you're new around here. Turn the notification bell so that you don't miss a single video that I post. And I'm trying to be as active as possible on this channel. And then tell me in the comment section below, what is your favorite background, or what is your favorite Little Big Planet game. I don't know anymore. But anyways, this is Radical Habit, and that's it for now. See you guys.